Hi, everyone. My name is Valerie Baugh-Schlossberg, and I'm a director, actress, deviser, movement specialist, and a teaching artist for Story Tapestries. And today, I'm really excited to share with you one of my favorite movement techniques, Laban movement analysis. Well, actually, I'm really only going to share with you one component of Laban movement analysis, and that's the 8 efforts. What makes this exciting for me is that I find that once I learned the 8 efforts, it made creating character so easy. By being able to figure out the 8 different ways that we move, I was able to put those together in any combination to create whatever character I wanted. It helped me with my physicalization as well as my vocal qualities and even into how I analyze text. So I really hope that you will enjoy it as much as I do. All right, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we are going to learn a little bit more about Laban together. So the 8 Laban efforts, which is a component of Laban movement analysis. Well, first off, who is Laban? Rudolf Laban was a Hungarian master of movement who lived from 1879 to 1958. He was kind of a Renaissance man. He was a choreographer, a dancer, an actor, painter, architect, educator, and of course, a movement specialist. And he created a system of recording and notating movement in the written form, and they called it Laban notation. Now, with the Laban movement analysis, it is a way of studying movement by breaking it down to its various qualities. And it's based on the idea that everything moves in one of 8 ways, the efforts, or a combination of these efforts. So each effort is made up of 4 elements. There's space or focus, time, weight, and flow. But we're not going to cover flow today. We'll cover that in a future lesson. So with space and focus, the manner in which energy is focused in a movement. The extremes of space that are either direct or indirect. So for example, it's not about your location or that you take up space in your room or that the space that you're performing in. What we're talking about is how you move through space, and in a direct manner or an indirect manner. So now with direct, you know where you're going, you know how to get there, and you go. An indirect manner, you may know how you're going to get there, but you may go over here first, and then you come over there, and it's more of a roundabout way of getting to where you're going. Here's another way of saying it. Direct movement involves a channeled, singularly focused awareness of the environment. So you are tunnel visioned, if you will. And indirect, your focus is flexible. However, you still maintain that all-encompassing attention to your environment. I like to think of it as more soft focus, that I'm using more of my peripheral vision than not just that one place where I'm going. You have a wider worldview. I have a video here of me giving some examples as with direct and indirect movement. Let's take a listen.
Hi, I'm here to demonstrate direct and indirect movement as it is applied to the Laban elements of movement. Direct, straightforward. You're moving towards something and you're getting there. You know exactly what you want, you know what you want to say, and you know how to get there. There isn't any decision-making process in between. Direct. If you want to turn in a direct movement, you pivot. You get to your point, you immediately switch direction, and you go. You pivot, you switch direction, and you go. Go straight forward. With your indirect, it may be a little bit more, think more curvy and roundabout the way of getting to something. So an example would be I might go over here and then I come over here, and then I eventually get to my destination. Now, I also want you to think of that in terms of your text and your intention of what you are trying to communicate to the other person. Direct. You know exactly what you want to say, how to say it, and you say it. Indirect, you might want to feel them out a little bit or get to a different point before you land on where it is and what it is you want to say. But I don't want you to think of indirect as confused or wishy-washy. You still have very clear intention. It's just you are taking up a much wider view of your surroundings and of your worldview. And it's this, what I often refer to as soft focus even. Okay? I hope that clears up direct and indirect, and I hope you take some time to practice.
Well, there you have it. So next we're going to go on and talk about time. Now, time is the expenditure or duration of time in a movement. How long it takes. The time it takes to finish the movement, or also even in a general attitude about time. Time is either quick or sustained. So it's fast or it's slow. And here I have a video talking about time.
Hi everyone, I'm here to talk about time as it applies to Laban's efforts. And we have quick and sustained. Now I'm not going to get up and demonstrate because I have a really small apartment, but as you can imagine, quick, very fast movement, and sustained, a very slow and metered movement. And you can have that as indirect as sustained, and you can have it indirect as quick. But I also want you to think in terms of character development and intention. When you have a sense of urgency and you need to talk to somebody quickly and you need to get all your ideas out fastly, then maybe you would have a very quick manner in which you would speak, you would vocalize, you would physicalize that. As opposed to making sure that everybody is truly listening to you and focused in when you really want to communicate something. And you also want to take the time in your character's thought process. So it might be more metered, more sustained, slower. So I want you to take a few moments to practice those and see what you discover. Thanks.
The third thing that we're going to talk about today is weight. Now, interesting because you can't physically alter your weight, but you can alter how you approach it, how you think about it, how you imagine it. And so with weight, it's the amount of gravitational force on an object or the feeling of force or the burden used in a movement. So the sensation of force or the burden exerted in a movement. Okay, well, what does that mean? To me, it means that something, of course, is either heavy or light, that's obvious, but that, let's say I'm thinking about something in a heavy manner. When I'm working in a heavy manner, I may contract, I may find myself feeling and imagining being pulled to the ground, and that may cause some tension. Or if I'm thinking about like my heart is heavy and that I have so many emotions inside and that all of that is like pushing downward, which makes me feel heavy and unable to move as quickly. Versus light, where I'm buoyant, I'm moving upward, I may be more relaxed and carefree. Again, here's another way to say it. Heavy movement is forceful and uses the sensation of body weight to make an impact. So we are creating a sense of tension as we pull things down. Maybe we contract certain body parts. And then a light movement can be described as delicate, and or it overcomes the sensation of body weight. It's so airy and joyful and springy, if you will. And here is my final example for this lesson today.
Hi, I'm here to talk about the next two elements that make up weight when we're discussing Laban's efforts. So we have heavy and light, which seems relatively self-explanatory, except when you're dealing with the physical body, because we can't always actually make ourselves heavy or make ourselves light. It's really a manifestation of how we can physicalize that feeling in our body. So with heavy, we want to think about pulling ourselves closer to the ground, if you will, or that we have a sense of tension, that we have that sense of force and of gravitational pull. Things are heavy. We can move heavy things and we embody heavy. Whereas light, we're buoyant. We can think of how we can be maybe higher up on our toes, and we can still move direct in a light manner. We can still go very light, or we can move in a direct manner where we're thinking very heavy and we're pulling ourselves closer. We're tightening our core and we're thinking more about that gravitational pull to the ground. Well, how do we think about it in terms of emotion and connection to intention? If you think about, you have a heavy heart where there's a very physical feeling that you can manifest by thinking about it, of this idea that you have so many emotions all at once that it is pulling your heart down. Now, are you really pulling your heart? Is your heart literally getting closer to the ground? No, it's not. You're still in your body in time and space, but you are the idea of it heavy and how that affects you physically. Maybe it pulls your shoulders in when you think of a heavy heart, or maybe it alters how you communicate with a person. Versus light, you're more relaxed, you're maybe more carefree. All of these elements that we think of with weight and time and space, they all infuse into character. So I want you to think about weight, think about heavy and light, and I want you to practice. And I'll see you soon for the next one.
All right, everyone, here is your 3 minutes to practice. So get ready, get set, think of direct, indirect, quick and sustained, and heavy and light. And I want you to practice combining all of those different things together, because when we come back for our next lesson, we'll start analyzing and really exploring what those different combinations can mean together. right, guys, keep up the good work. We have about a minute left. Again, think about all the different ways that you can move quick and sustained and in different directions and different levels. Think of low, think of mid, think of high. Think of weight. What different thoughts weigh you down? What things give you enjoyment? Like, how do you move and keep you up? And direct and indirect. How long can you take to get to your destination? Or how directly can you get to where you need to go? Or how directly can you save something? All these different explorations. All right, we are almost at the end here. 10 more seconds. Bring it on back, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to practice. I really hope you enjoyed your exploration. All right, guys, we're going to bring this in for the final moments of a review. So we discussed some elements of movement and that each effort is made up of the 4 different elements. And 3 we covered. The 3 that we covered are space or focus, time, and weight. And next time we will interject flow into that as I share with you our first set of 8 efforts. Thanks so much. I'm glad you had a good time. I hope you had a good time, and I'll see you soon.